AI, omnichannel strategies, and smarter data are transforming how businesses interact with their customers, creating new opportunities and challenges. On this episode of Let's Talk Business Transformation, Adil El Akroud, Sales Director, joins us to discuss what these shifts mean for today's market, how innovations are shaping the industry, and key lessons for organizations navigating this change. Let's jump in.
So 2026 retail is maybe as exciting and dynamic as it's ever been because retail is in such a wild place in 2026. It's so much so that I think the way that we're defining things and the way that the world is looking at it from the outside in and from the inside out is so completely different. So excited to have you kind of demystify the retail landscape as we look at it right now. So starting with just digital transformation, do you think that it's a scary buzzword or an exciting roller coaster? You know, if you had to be honest and explain it to someone at a party, how would you explain digital transformation in 2026?
Okay, well, thanks first of all, Pat, for having me. It's a true chance for me also to explain and to showcase, I'd say, my vision for these different topics. So yeah, let's jump ahead. Well, if I was in a party, let's say, or in the real job life, I would say that for me it's both. It's a buzzword when it stays on slides basically, but it's also an exciting roller coaster the moment you start touching the real customers' journeys and real terms. The hard part is not the tech; it's helping people change how they work without feeling threatened. If you see what I mean. At a party, I usually say my job is to remove friction between customers and brands using technology without making anyone's life more complicated. So here you go.
Perfect. Well, when you taking a step back on that, what do you think the most surprising thing that you've learned about customers since really diving into digital transformation?
So yeah, good question. What surprised me the most is how quickly customers change their habits. Basically, when the experience is genuinely better, they might be loyal to a brand for years, but they're not loyal to a channel at all. So if the app is better than the store, they switch. If the store is better than the website, they go back. So convenience wins much faster than we think.
So what's one customer behavior that you've observed that made it clear how important technology has become to retail?
So the clearest sign is how comfortable people are when they feel blind, if you see what I mean. I'll deep dive on this one. If they can't check stock, track an order, or see a return status in real time, frustration goes up immediately. We've moved from I hope it's there to I expect to know now where it is. So technology has basically turned transparency into a baseline expectation, Pat.
So you've talked a little bit about removing friction from the buying process, right? If you could take one part of retail and automate it over a night, what would it be? Would it be checkout lines, inventory stock, the do you have this in different size type questions? What do you think would be one part that you would automate tonight?
Well, this one's going to be easy for me. I'd say I'd automate everything that feels repetitive for the teams, but invisible for customers, Pat. So stock checks, size availabilities, returns routing, anything. When a sales associate spends time in the back room, looking for products instead of being with the customer, nobody wins. So if tech can answer, do you have this in my size and where? Instantly, well, staff can focus on advice, styling, and human connection. So yeah, I would say everything that feels repetitive.
So from your perspective, right, there's so many things that we could dive into, but where does retail create the most value today? Online, in store, or somewhere in the space between the two?
Well, I'll go for the last one. It's the real value today is clearly in the in between. I would say online is great for convenience and choice. Stores are powerful for emotion experience. But the magic happens when the two talk to each other. So you can reserve online, try in store, return anywhere, get the same recognition and benefits, whatever the entry point is. So that continuity for me is where customers really feel the brand.
So retail continues to really evolve rapidly. What changes do you think have delivered the biggest impact in how transformation projects are designed and delivered?
Okay, so I would say that two main changes that stand out: the speed of customer expectations and the maturity of cloud platforms. Customers don't compare you to your direct competitors anymore; they compare you to the last great experience they've had. So at the same time, the tech stack has become more modular. Basically, that means that we design projects less as big bang replatformings and more a sequence of targeted high impact increments that can show value very fast.
So customer expectations are going to continue to rise, and they keep rising. How can retailers build experiences that feel consistent across omnichannel, right? Across both those physical and digital channels?
Yeah, good question. Well, that's something we get across all the time as directors. So, well, consistency starts with common foundations: one view of the customer, one view of the stocks, and one loyalty logic. So, once that's in place, it's about designing journeys from the customer's perspective, not from the organization's chart. So, as we say, perspection is reality. So, if marketing, retail, and e-commerce share the same KPIs and roadmap, you naturally get experiences that feel connected, whatever the channel.
So when you look at omni-channel strategies, where do you see the biggest opportunities for improvement?
So yeah, I'd say that the biggest opportunity, sorry, is to reduce the gap between what's possible on paper and what actually happens in store. Many brands have great omnichannel journeys defined, but they break on the last mile. An associate who doesn't see the online history, a click and collect that has not been ready, a return that takes too long. So investing in tools is important, but investing in training, processes, and store enablement is where a lot of value is still untapped. Sorry.
So the underpin of all this conversation is data, right? So data is both a strength and a challenge for a lot of retailers. So how do you think retailers should go about structuring and using their data that actually creates value in the omnichannel environment you talk?
Well, that's something I usually go on the triptych. So I'll suggest three moves: simplify, centralize, and activate. Simplify by focusing on a limited set of key entities: customer, product, order, interaction. Centralize in a platform that can be trusted by marketing, retail, and services. But most importantly, activate. Connect the data to concrete use cases, better segmentation, smarter replenishment, more relevant service. So rather than collecting everything just in case.
So how do you create a consistent loyalty experience across online, in-store, and mobile without overwhelming customers?
Okay, so that's an important rule. So the rule is one promise, many entry points. So the benefits should be simple and stable, whether you join in the store, in the app, or on the website. You see, Pat? So then you adapt the experience, not the rules, but maybe the app gives more personalization, the store gives more human recognition. So emails could give you more inspiration. So yeah, if a customer needs a PhD to understand how to earn and use points, you've gone too far.
So when we're talking about a lot of stepping back and kind of the automation, the AI piece of this, right? Can AI actually strengthen emotional loyalty, the loyalty that people feel towards brands, or is that something that only humans can?
Yeah, no, I'm on the old school part. I would say that AI can replace human empathy for now, but it can absolutely create the conditions for emotional loyalty. It can remove friction, anticipate some needs, and help teams to be more present and relevant. But when an associate already knows your size, your style, and your last purchase, for instance, thanks to AI-powered insights, well, the interaction feels personal. The emotion is still human, but AI makes it easier to dev at scale.
So modernizing legacy systems is one of the hardest parts of transformation. So what helps organization move fast without losing control?
Well, the key is to stop thinking in terms of rip and replace, and start thinking in terms of wrapping and evolving. You see, that's the shift we're all going through right now. So, I would say that you keep the core that works. You see, you expose it through APIs, and you build new experiences around it. So you define a clear target architecture, but you move their journey by journey, domain by domain, right? You won't do a big bang in any sense. So that way, you reduce the risk, you keep business continuity, and you can improve value at each step.
What emerging technologies do you think are going to reshape the retail landscape in the near future? There is a litany of technologies hitting the scene right now. Every 3 days you hear about the new groundbreaking technology that's going to hit the retail landscape. When you look at the landscape, what emerging technologies do you actually think are going to reshape retail in the next 6 months?
Okay, so three areas excite me the most, Pat. So AI-driven personalization that goes beyond people who bought this, also bought that, into real-time context-aware experiences. Conversational commerce also, so where chat and voice become natural. It has to be natural ways to browse and buy, even if that's AI driven. And behind it, I would say unified data platforms, right? So that's what we do on a daily basis. We break silos between marketing, commerce, and service. So together, they will make retail feel like channels and more like a continuous relationship.
So to wrap us up here, in a world of endless choice and AI-driven retail, what's making customers really stay truly loyal to one brand over another?
Well, we have the chance at OSF to have many returns of experiences, right? Many best practices, also more than 1,000 customers and thousand of projects. So what we've understood clearly is that in the end, customers stay loyal for three reasons: trust, relevance, and coherence. Trust that the brand delivers on its promises and handles their data responsibly, for example. Relevance in the offers, content, and service they receive. And lastly, coherence in the experience. Same tone, same level of quality, same recognition wherever they interact. So technology can amplify all three, but it's the brand values and execution that make them real.
Thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome, Pat. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Business Transformation by OSF Digital. Follow us for more episodes and visit osf.digital to learn more.